Alright, we're continuing Belgium beer world tour. We stopped with the end of last time. I think it was Tooth. Right? I drank this beer in the last video. Well, one of the many beers they make. So really nice, recommended beer. And I'll keep mentioning the price. I know it sounds. Why are you getting all materialist on me? Well, because it matters, huh? More, the truth is a more affordable beer. Now we get to, of course, what was it? The lambic beers. These are the wild, the ones in that one valley. This one yeast strain lives in this one valley in Belgium, and that's it. So it's interesting how they have devised these beers, right? The lambic beers. Now, they use wheat malt, and they are in their natural state. They're very sour beer. It's like wild beer, and they can make it as weak as 4%, and they can make it pretty strong. I've had a couple of strong ones. It's interesting how they do that. They also like to do these things where they mix the old and the new together. They mix them together, and they actually have a special name for that. Of course, the most famous one is Lindemann. Okay, although Leafman's, this beer, oh man, I can't find this anywhere. The beer comes wrapped in like paper. This might be the best of these particularly these cherry beers I keep mentioning that are kind of mixed in with the lambic, but they're not all lambics. It's an interesting way. It's the fermentation. So, but like a Lindemann is very popular. You'll find this everywhere. Apparently, it's very big in China. Makes sense. So you get Leafman's, Lindemann's. Obviously, these are the Flemish. Here's Michael Jackson. Remember, I keep mentioning the other Michael Jackson, right? He called Lindemann's 4% ABV Creek, right there, cherry, one of the 5 best beers of the world. I of course like the Framboise, but it's good. It's pretty good, man. So then I have here with the Morte Subiti, right? I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but the Sudden Death Cafe in Brussels, named for sudden death. But it's not an extreme name. It's basically referring to the lunch hour card games, because then you had to stop the game to go back to work. So, interesting. It seems like a very relaxed culture in Brussels. Really top handles. Look at this. I can imagine. I don't think I've ever had these things on top. And, like it depends. The cherry. Oh, this is all sweet, sugary beer. It's not. It's tart, right? It's really like currants. I never had this one. It's tart. It's how it should. And he mentioned how the term mortis, however that's pronounced, means sudden death. It comes not from the beer, but from patrons abruptly ending lunchtime card games in order to get back to work. Oh, poor bastards. Of course, now we get into the wit beer. I drank a wit beer last night in the video. A whole garden, of course, the most famous one, an old beer style, apparently. Brought back by Pierre Chalice. I remember him. He has the French. Yeah, Pierre Chalice. Interesting, a Walloon, but bringing back a Flemish beer from this region. Apparently, this style had been all but forgotten. Hey, this is the famous Belgian wheat beer. I used to have that glass. I wonder what happened to it. This one looks good too. So one of my watchers, CP Webster, had just mentioned that he had one of these wit beers, but I think the stronger one in Belgium, and it sort of knocked them for a loop. Makes a lot of sense. Really nice, refreshing beer. Cool. I keep mentioning Allagash as the American, probably is the best one it is, but you can't go wrong. Everybody has this is a popular style. Like I said, it's got that refreshing but flavorful, not super heavy, but spicy kind of, and the yeast is also spicy. That's just good stuff. Oh, my favorite beers, the Abbey Brewers. Of course, the beer. Now, I always thought this was the Abbey Ale, but technically, I guess Saint Bernardus is not. These are the beers that are still brewed in the monasteries. They still have them, believe it or not, in Europe. And some are done for them by brewers using the old recipes, and some are actually still done in the Abbey. So you have to have the official logo the authentic Abbey breweries by the Union of Belgian Brewers. We got tea. Of course, Left Feet. Now I have these. I told you I got these cups for like $1.25. Now Left Feet, is it my favorite? It is affordable and available. It's not, it's not bad. I mean, it's better than anything, domestic for the most part. Like the old domestic stuff. Of course, Corsi Donk. They make a very good Christmas beer that I like. And there you go. St. Bernardus. I remember seeing the beer with this creepy monk on it. I'm like, man, how good could this be? Oh, excuse me. So we got the brewery, obviously, St. Bernardus. So obviously, that's the Flemish. Founded in 1946. After all the fun's over, right? In Watteau. Was that Watteau? Who knows how it's pronounced? Secular brewery associated over the years with two Trappist monasteries. One gave us our name, the other gave us our beer. All right, that's interesting. The monks also make cheese. And then you see, I've seen this one. I've never had this yet, but obviously there's a reason why. Of course, the St. Bernardus, you have different numbers. Also, the number 12 is probably the number 12. I had the Christmas ale in the Gothic British horror Christmas Eve ghost story video, but the number 12, this might be the best. This might be one of the best beers ever brewed, man. I'm not lying to you. Unless they change. Of course, Chimay is always solid. These are probably the most famous ones. The Trappist breweries. And here's more of them. Oh, Trappist Rochefort, right? And you got the Westmalle. And you got this. I've tried this one. This is, I don't know what this is. This is a weird beer they make here. That's the only one they make. And it's very different from the other ones. I don't know if I like it, but it's definitely something interesting. We got, of course, and then we got the famous one, the other Abbey beer that is almost impossible to get. You can't buy it in a store. It has the distinctive Abbey bottles that seem to look kind of like this, but it has no label on it, and I don't know how to pronounce it. West Velataru, I don't know how to pronounce it, so sorry. It offers this beer for sale on a limited basis, right? And people say that and the St. Bernardus number 12 and that are related, but that it's actually even better than that. I mean, who's to say? All right, and I like this here, a little closing out here as we go into the porn, right? The beer porn. Oh, don't use that degenerate term. Fuck it. Yeah, we're all monks. We're all Abbey monks, right? All of a sudden, despite the fact that Westphalian 12 is widely regarded as one of the world's greatest beers, okay? The Trappists at the Abbey have refused to consider increasing capacity to meet avaricious global demand. As the Father Abbot said on the occasion of the opening of the new brew house some years back, we have to live from and with our brewery, but we do not live for our brewery. This must be strange for business people and difficult to understand that we do not exploit our commercial assets as much as we can. We are no brewers. We are monks. We brew beer to be able to afford being monks. I kind of like, I don't know, I thought that was kind of cool. So, whether Shaolin or in the British, the Belgian region, we have the monks have a higher calling. Look at that, that's cool, copper. Brewing ball, okay, for Russia, we work just enough. We don't want a stressful life. We try to achieve a balance, to have a sense of family. Whoa. What are you, a Nazi? Anyway, let's get to the beer. Okay, here we got one of the Trappists, Rochefort. This is one of the Abbey ales, and this is the number 6. So this is the lightest one. It's still at 7.5% ABV, right? And it's not as dark. It's a little lighter than obviously the higher numbers. Right, you get 8 and you get 10. How do you describe these Abbey beers? It's sweet, but not none of this stuff is like, it's like almost like dark chocolate. Of course, this is lighter, which actually I like. I don't like the super rich beers all the time like I used to. Let me get another taste. Oh man, that's excellent. It's absolutely excellent. I think the last one I had of this was, I think, the number 10, and that was obviously richer, thicker, heavier than this. But this is actually deadly. This is deadly. Yes, this is deadly. This tastes pretty light to me. Not in flavor, but like in terms of like you could get in trouble. You could get in big trouble with this beer, man. You know, and that's a common thing with the Belgian beers. These holy beers, right? These the beers made by holy men, but they seem to be evil. No, they're not evil. They're good. But I didn't make you drink me. You sought me out. That's true. mm. Mm. Yeah, yeah. Now a lot of them, you have like, this is, I consider a double, right? But this is nice, man. This is a nice, lighter Belgian Trappist beer. Yeah, this is oof, man. Watch it, dude. Watch it. Good job. Okay, now the Duvel, right, which is devil in Flemish, right? Belgian strong blonde beer. As you can see, I don't have the special glass, tulip glass it comes with. So I had to use this baby. And yeah, the head goes up real high. You gotta be careful. It's almost like bizarre. That's the fermentation. These things are like fermented in the bottle as well. Fermenting as we speak in the bottle. And it's got that strong, thick bottle glass. Because these things can blow up. Some of the beers, like there was what was it? One called Boon, Boon. Their friggin' beer was like champagne. When you twist that little cage at the top of the cork, every single one from that brewery I ever got would always shoot out. You gotta point it away from your eye. But this one here, actually a bottle of this exploded once when it fell. It blew up like a hand grenade. There's so much carbonation from the yeast. Anyway, now how does it? Now this is a unique taste. Right? It uses a Pilsner malt. You could argue that this is like a super Belgianized lager, perhaps. Okay. Kind of like a funky lager. Right? It has a hoppy taste to it. Actually, it's not sweet. It's kind of like a mix of like in a good way, funk, right? And a lager, yeah, like a Pilsner beer. So it's very dry, and it is very hoppy, and it is deceptively strong. That's why it's called the devil, because you can have a bunch of these thinking you're all right, mate, and you're not. So that's why I always think of that movie. Remember that movie In Bruges? I still don't know if I liked that movie, but there was scenes in it I liked. And you had Colin Farrell talking about, you would sit here, drink your gay Belgian beer. And I was like, wow, mate, you have no idea that the Belgian beers will whoop your Irish beer's ass in terms of strength. But yeah. Yeah, not a sweet beer at all. Not malty, but not. It's hard to describe these beers, man. They are definitely a snapshot in place and time. I just think it's interesting too that the ale strain used for this, it was an ale. It was a Scotch ale, apparently. Very interesting. It doesn't look nothing like a Scotch ale, does it? I saved the best for last, man. Wow. Look at that. Look at that dude. I remember when I first saw a beer like this, I said, what kind of beer is this? Look at this dude. Come on, man. What's he doing in the Abbey? I don't want to know. All right. So I finally got my hands on this. Obviously, I had a gift pack and had the other, the same numberings scheme, the 6, the 8, right? Or was it the 9? I forget. And then the 12. Can you count? Oh, yeah. I mean, this guy, I love this pimp glass. Look at this one. Yo, my man. Ebonics mixed with an appreciation of European tradition and heritage, which I guess I didn't say in the vid, but obviously, I got to be the Debbie Downer here. This stuff is eventually going to go away, or hopefully it can be salvaged somehow in the changing demographics of Europe, particularly in Belgium. It seems to be in hyperdrive over there. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take a lot of time, does it? But my monk here would tell you to serve the Lord and also to protect your country. But I guess it's easier to drink the beer. But when it's this beer, yeah, it is very easy to drink. You see how creamy and frothy the head is. Look how cool that is visually. Look at the detail on these cameras now. But, of course, I've let this warm up a little bit. I usually drink my beer a little colder than the average European because I'm American. I can't help it. So, but not ice cold. But this, I've let this come to a higher temperature. So let's taste it. Come on. Oh, man, dude. I don't know how to describe this. The texture of it is very pleasant. It literally attacks your tongue with different flavors. Obviously, they always mention dark fruit, all that jazz, chocolate, dark chocolate, all these tasting notes that the beer people have borrowed from the wine tasting people. But damn it, if this is not a wine level, I mean, I'm a beer man, right? But I admit wine has a pedigree. This beer definitely, oh my God. So, and I always wonder what that Westerveren, which is the cousin of this, 12, they say that's the best beer in the world. Who, I guess I'll never know, but oh man. Wow, dude. That's awesome. Unbelievable. I haven't had one of these in a minute. And I've, like I said, I let it warm up a little bit. Man, what a flavor! What a flavor factory! Uh, I don't know what else to say, but unfortunately, like I said, it's not something I'm going to taste often because of the price. A 4-pack of this is like $28 bloody dollars. Yes, yes. And it's becoming a rare commodity more and more. I notice a lot of places don't stock a lot of Belgian stuff. It doesn't move. What are these kids doing? These kids don't want to drink. The ones that are gonna replace us. I guess it's more beer for me, but oh man, look at it. The head is still there, even though this is a strong beer. It's not dissipating. Okay. Man, this is an awesome ass cup, ain't it? Anyway, enough. There's my alcoholic thing for the week. Enjoy the Belgian beers. I'm still a German beer dude, but I tell you, there are some. You go down the rabbit hole with the Belgian beers. It is fascinating, truly is.